welcome back to MD Model Works in association with Pt7. Couple of little things first. With the 1/32 Tamiya and a lot of Tamiya kits nowadays, you get screws and you get little rubber grommets. I just use a little plastic container, split them all out of their little plastic bags, and I tend not to lose them. I know exactly where they are. I go straight to them. Just a little tiny tip to keep everything together so it doesn't get lost. I do split them up into the right size. There's a bit OCD, but hey ho. Anyway, right, back onto tonight's little first part. What we have is our gear, which I've done my usual trick of black primer and then over the top of white and then my wash. Very simple to do, goes quick, works very well. Right, we're just going to check on our orientation of everything and make sure we're correct of what we're doing and getting everything in the right place so that we can button this part down, and she should go like that and slip over, which is lovely, and it also makes this part very solid. So first of all we need the screws. So we're looking at MB3s, which are, I believe they're those ones. So put that into there, yeah, and I'm right for a change. So we'll do some of the way up just to hold it, and again when I can get it out, let my finger up the easier one. So that's out, and then we can put it in the other side. Bit fiddly-farty tonight for some reason, and we just tighten it down a little bit. Right, then we're going to get our tap and just run a line of tap right around the outside. This is just to help the screws, just like so, and then just tighten them down, not too tight either because it's plastic and it will just shred it. Now because it's sitting a little bit odd and it's not quite sitting properly down, it's obviously something holding it back, but it looks okay. So what we'll do, we'll just get a flat nose peg. Rubber ones is a good tip. They don't seem to ping off like the old wooden ones do. Just to hold that into place, and I don't think a peg will reach that far. It may do. No. Okay, so just to hold that down we want a clamp. We can find one, just an ordinary clamp. That'll hold that in place. It needs to be held for 10 minutes and that'll be fine. And pucker. Right, so that can be put to one side for now. Well, we do need those. Ooh, do we ever? Right, now we can bring our body in. So our main body is there, along with our undercarriage bay. Now this is the wrong way up, so what we're going to do, make sure I've got it in view, yeah, it should all just sit into place and literally clamp down like so, and there we have our undercarriage in, looking good, looks straight through. I don't know how well you're about to see in there, but she goes straight through, which is nice. Then of course we'll have our front area put on very soon. Right, now with this one, bigger screws, just a touch, just a hold to begin with. All fingers and thumbs today. Another screw. Fiddly. Start her off. Okay. Right, we're just going to run some glue underneath all these joints just to help it a little bit. They don't need a lot. There's 8 screws, 4 on each side, should be fine. I know which screws these ones are. So, starting them off. Magnetic a minute ago. Now I don't want to know. Usual way. Straight in. Start her off. A few more. Put these in all the way around. First, I think is the best bet. I see it be all, what I say, fingers and thumbs. Doodly-doo-doo-doo. Right, okay, so they're all in. Now we're just going to tighten them down. Again, don't go too mad. It's plastic, and they will shred the threads without any issues. So just screwing them in hand tight, nothing major, just so that they hold it in place while the glue takes on. Just checking. Oh, lovely job. Okay, so that's our undercarriage bay in place. We've got our engine bay there as well. We're happy with how that looks, so we can put that to one side. We'll put our screws away, and we'll come to our back to our wheel bay. Now there is another part for that, but I can wait until I put that together. I've got that there. Right, so all we're going to do now is to line this up. Get it all into position. Check to make sure we've got our parts lined up there, just like so. And then put the right way mark. It does help a lot. Put it together, and we'll check our fit, which, as usual with Tamiya, is very, very good. So we'll just run some glue along, hold it down just for a few seconds because this bit seems to be a little bit off. Hold that there in place. I hope you can see this. Just to let the glue start to bite, and some glue across the top half. You want a nice bite there. So I don't know if these will work. Oh, no. Thought they would, but they didn't. That worked like that. Lovely. So that holds there. Not done. We'll do that and that, just to hold that into place. And that holds that even as well, which helps. And a little bit of glue there. Take that off because straight away the glue ran into the peg. See, I do show the cock-ups as well. That's not an issue. That'll dry and we can rescribe it. Sand that away and rescribe it in a little while. So I did show you all my cock-ups as well. Should have known better really. But hey ho. You don't use that peg because that's now got a little bit of glue on it. Use a clean peg from the edge. Hold that into place. We shouldn't need too much filler along there. Then we come to the back area, making sure it's all clicked in and clipped into place. And we'll run some glue along that gap. And that will all melt and join in nicely. Give that a few seconds again. Seems that I don't want to go together quite right there. It does happen. Even with Tamiya, but there you go, the gap's gone. So now we can just make sure it's nice and level, which it is. Give it a squeeze and hold for about 30 seconds. And we should be good to go. That's lovely. Meanwhile, while that's all drying, there'll be a little bit of filler to go in there by the looks of it. For some reason that's a little bit tight than it should be. There's a lot of glue up that end for some reason. Hold that in place. What can we use to hold that in place, Mark? If I go over the top, I don't want to touch that other glue bit we just did. Just hold that in place like so. As I said, I try to show you everything. If things go wrong, I'll show you. I'm not like others. I won't edit it out. I'll make it look horrible. There you go. Right, so that's our nose part. Now we need to leave that to dry. And we'll come back and hopefully then wants us to put our this part onto the main part and put the wheels on as well onto that. But obviously we won't be doing that. We'll leave that till a little bit later. We'll go from there. Okay. Right, we'll be back shortly. Okay, so right. So the super glue is set. We have a small gap just here, which we're going to fill. And for my favourite filler is Vallejo plastic putty. Now it's acrylic resin, great stuff. The main benefit of it is it wipes away with water. So even when it's set, it will sit there and will eventually wipe itself. Sorry, when you wet a Q-tip, earbud, whatever you want to call it, and it will take the excess away, which is fantastic, and then you just slightly sand the end to finish it off. So with this stuff, very simple to use. you do is cut the end to how thick you want it. Excuse Dudley in the background. And then fill your gap up. Now I put a little bit extra in there because I actually want it to go in. Now this will shrink back, so remember this. She will shrink back. Just put that out of the way for a moment. And then we get our Q-tip and wipe away. And wipe away again. Now I've gone a little bit over the top there. Let's put it straight in the bin. Please excuse Dudley. And all we're going to do is what we took off that time. We're just going to lay in that gap again. And then one final wipe away. No, I messed it up. Turn it there. And then she fill a jobbed. Now that's quite a neat fill. She's in there. We're quite happy. Now we have the same. This is the only joint you will see. Dudley, could you please be quiet? Right. This is the only joint you're going to see on the kit whatsoever. Throughout the whole kit, this is the main joint that will show up the one underneath, which is always a bit of a pain. What we're going to do is just run, making sure we filled up the gap, and there's a slight mark where the sprue was cut off at the other end, just like so. We're not going to give it too much. I'm going to immediately put the lid on top of our filler and put it into our usual place, and we're going to be very careful and just drag it away, because all we want left is a very thin line of filler to file down. We don't want to do too much more work than we need to, so we'll just literally taking it away. We're going to redo those panel lines there, so that's not an issue. And again from this side, so that's the actual joint filled, looking good. And then all we're going to do now is just for the second run a knife just into those parts, just in the, into the panel lines around that hatch, just to start her off, so that when we come in with our P cutter later, that'll be ready. Anyway, that's that basically ready and to fit onto our lower half. I'll take you out for this because it's a bit bigger. Now, as you can see, this part, which is a beautiful fit, normally won't fit in there because we have our two resonette sections which are here, which will go in perfectly eventually, but at the moment we're covered in filler already, look. But that's already dry, which is the nice part. So what we have to do, what we're going to do is just do another fit again and check fit and see what we need to take away, which is quite simple. We need to take away the little platforms or the little edges which we would use, just like so. That's all we need to do on this, is take these away. And then we'll get a very sharp knife when I can find one. There it is. And all we're going to do is score along that edge. Just keep scoring. Now, that part will now, hopefully, if I get my little snippers on top, bend over. I thought I had a small pair of pliers about this I have down there, but I shan't bother getting them out. That's not quite ready, so you get your knife again and just gently score. I'm hardly putting any pressure on because I don't want to go too far and dig into the rest of the model, if you know what I mean. So we're just, there you go, and it comes off just like so. That's one side. And the other. Oops. That's gonna be, so again, score. Just use your knife, just gently to score in, and then nip it down just a hair. Always try, when you're doing anything like this, try and do it from the direction you're going to be seeing the model from. It just comes off like so, and then we'll just go gently again, being a little bit, I don't do finesse, ask my wife, but I'm just trying to be a little bit gentler on this. Like I say, I want this really good for Nick, that's the plan, and we can just trim the rest of that off with our snip snips. These are Meng side cutters, sprue cutters, designed especially for this job, well, not for this part of the job, but for plastic, and they are absolutely fantastic. I had a set of Citadel, I've had a set of Tamiya, and neither lasted very long at all. Right, we then have coming in with a very fine sanding sponge, a sanding stick. So we're just going along our edges, just tidying them up really to begin with, and we'll do a test fit. See, that ain't going there yet. Very little pressure being put on. Just do any sanding job, no pressure, let the sanding stick do the work. Okay. Right, now how good are we? I think personally that couldn't have gone much better. That's all nicely in. We just need to get, oh, I see that part's playing me up just there. Right, so where we've taken these parts out, the fit is lovely and perfect, but we have a slight raised area just on the front of the splitter. So we'll just give that a file, and we also have a slight raised issue on each side of this, so hopefully that will take care of that. And now, with any luck, if I have any luck, that'll click in just like that. Now that has clicked in there perfectly well on both sides and lovely. Now I'm not going to remove that, that is a perfect fit. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to just glue our intake using our Tet on each side, letting the capillary action do the work for us so that there are no issues, and we'll run the Tet right the way along the side. Now this part here will wobble, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let the intake itself settle, glue where it needs to glue. and then we'll come back in with some more glue and we'll join these parts together and line them up, get them lined in perfectly. Right, I think that's enough for this part. I'm quite happy with the way it looks. I'm still working on getting rid of the glue mark that I made, but you'll find that our Vallejo putty is all hardened up, so that can be sorted and that can be rescribed as well when it's ready. Right, so that's it. We now have the bottom of our fuselage almost completely finished, so that can go to one side and we can get on with something else. I mean, the next part is the rear undercarriage, which I will put together and get ready to spray, but I will not be fitting those until we've actually built the aircraft. I never normally fit the undercarriage. You have to with the front wheel because of the way it sits and the way it's placed underneath and the way it's held by the screws and by the plate that goes over top. So I have to leave it like that, and I'll show you how I make a mask up for the paint and spraying for that, and of course obviously for this part, which we will the intake, which will show you how to mask that up as well. So quite happy with that. We'll leave that for now. We'll call that another part sorted, and we'll come back tomorrow hopefully once this is all nicely glued. It's not holding very well, but we'll put let's see if we can get, no, I ain't got a peg on that. I'll hold that just for a little while, let that glue in, and we'll be quite happy. Great, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again in the next part. Bye for now.